the herd. I messed that up. That's why we need Gavin back on here. But anyways, it's okay. We're excited. Right now is exciting times. We got the girls basketball. They're just headed off to their state game. Boys had their state game last night for basketball and have another one on Friday. And the wrestlers are going to their state tournament. So a lot of good things happening all around the board. And academics, we got kids testing. We got everything going on right now. And so it's a busy time, but we're still squeezing in another podcast. And we're excited to have the wrestling coaches back on here and our state qualifiers, and we're going to continue to cycle through some wrestling. So we're going to try something new today and have some new people popping on here. And Manny, you're going to run this, but before you run this, we want to say a few things and ask you a few questions. So one is, please continue to check out our sponsors. Like this stuff, it's so great that we have sponsors. We have them all over the place, but specifically we have Huddle and sponsors that have helped our broadcasting class to continue to try to make this better. All of them are on our school website. We'll put a clip at the end here, so make sure to look at that clip at the end and you can see all those sponsors. And then just check out their commercials online or go to our Huddle and go watch it and you can see commercials. So with that being said, Manny, let's get straight to you here.
Uh-huh.
Tell us a little bit about, first off, like people that don't know anything about wrestling, like what did you qualify for? Where are we going? What happened? What's the road to get here? Like, give us the roadmap real quick.
So basically with wrestling, you have a season and you have your 4 weeks, kind of like football, where you have everything is on the line. You have districts, you have a week in between. I guess it's 3 weeks this year. Mm-hmm. And then you have state. And so you play pretty much a bunch of tournaments coming up to it in duels. And it's kind of all, the way we treat it, it's kind of all practice up until districts and state. It's kind of, is how we kind of always put the attitude towards it. But we have, for 1A, we have what we call 1A state, which is unofficial through OSAA. It's unofficial, not with OSAA. And then we have 1A, 2A, which is what is coming up.
That's the official one.
Yes, that's the official one. So if anybody saw on Facebook that we already had state, it was the unofficial one is the one that we had.
But you won that.
I did win that.
You're the champion of that one.
Yeah.
And does that stuff help your ranking at all?
It does.
Okay.
It absolutely does.
Every time you win.
Every time you win, it helps your ranking because your season stats actually go into the seeding meeting for sure. So it's just the same as, like I said, football, where depending on how many your wins and losses and then head-to-head matchups determine where you are seated. And even your criteria from the previous year helps you get seated depending on that.
Now I got a lot of questions in my head, but I know we don't have time for all of them. But like,
Yeah.
Like Idaho, if you go wrestle somebody in Idaho, does that...
It doesn't affect you.
It
Nope.
won't affect.
It
in
doesn't.
Any, like in a positive or negative way, it doesn't affect? It's just out?
It's mainly win-loss record.
It's just win-loss.
Yep. So,
Win-loss, gotcha.
unless there's a common opponent or something like that. But for us, you've got everybody on the western side of the state that'll never see anybody in Idaho, so the common opponent's not there. But, but win-loss record, it makes a difference.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and the other thing also is in those tournaments that we go to throughout the year, it's not just 1A, 2A. It can be 1A through 6A. Like when we went to Culver, Madras was there. They're 4A, right? Or are they 5A?
No, I believe they're 4A. Yep.
They're 4A.
Yep.
And so, like, we were wrestling kids quite a few schools bigger than us. And so that's the other thing about wrestling is you kind of, the lines of just 1A, 2A kind of blur. And so that's kind of really cool because you can wrestle kids from all over the state and have totally different backgrounds. And wrestling kind of draws all sorts of people. You kind of have the tough guys, and then there's always a couple weirdos in there too. But it's kind of funny because wrestling draws from all the corners of the world in a good way.
Yeah.
Circle of a
Yes,
mat.
yes, exactly. That's a great way to point it.
So you earned a first round bye, correct?
Yes.
Congratulations on that, by the way. And one thing that what's your favorite move? What's your favorite move?
Probably my favorite takedown.
Be careful here. Your coaches might be like,
I know.
Manny, we told you don't use that move.
Oh, we know.
I know. If I could get good at it, lat drops are cool. They're not my favorite move, but they're cool. But I really like a fake for an inside to an outside single. For pretty much those who don't know it, you pretend like you're going to take a shot to his left leg, and he takes a step back, and you go to his right one on the outside. I ran it actually at the duels here on a buddy of mine that rides bareback horses, and he kind of fell on his head when he did it, and so it was kind of funny.
Nice.
But that's kind of like my main takedown. And then my favorite pin combo is the coolest one is a spladle because you make somebody look really dumb. But probably the one I run the most is a half, just because those things are everywhere. So
just a half Nelson.
Just a half Nelson, either with a wrist or not. So sometimes a Redmond. Or Saturday Night Ride if it comes right down to it. But
all right, so everybody pay attention to those names. Just start, I don't know what wrestling matches. Spadle him. Just go for it. Just say that. That gets Manny going, and then he's gonna finish that one right there. So, no, we're super proud of you guys, and Manny, I'm gonna, you're an expert at the podcast. You're on the broadcasting club. You're also an expert on the wrestling mats, and we know that you're a great athlete, great student. We thank you for everything you do, and I wanted to take a second to say that.
Absolutely.
And then I'm gonna step off and let some of the others come in. You can start asking the coaches as I go find somebody to shuffle in here, and we'll try to get going through some people here. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Which one's up first? Let's go. Ian, you want to come up first? I'm gonna make you. The one that wasn't as comfortable with this, I'm going to make you do it because Michaela's already done it once, and then we'll go through the rest of you guys. Do all the state qualifiers first. All right, Ian. One of 3 freshmen to ever make it to state.
Yep.
First year. How does that feel, first off? You got to get a little closer.
It's pretty exciting that I am one of the, first freshmen to make it to state. And hopefully I will place at state and be the first freshman to place at state.
Heck yeah. Those are big goals right there. Obviously, your dad wrestled. He's one of your coaches. How does your dad being a coach affect you? Because I have a little experience in that too.
It really helps. It gets me going a lot better and just makes me wrestle a lot better.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know sometimes with my dad, it's like, just let me do my thing just for a little bit here. Just let me kind of play around with it, but it almost always helps. So, as a coach and a dad, what do you think of this season so far?
I think Ian's had a great season so far. We had a little rough start to the start of the year. Wrestling at 113 pounds was a little eye-opening for him. I coaching them in middle school and stuff like that, I told those 8th graders, I said, listen, you guys might be doing really well this year, but you step in the high school room and it's a whole different ball of wax. Mm-hmm. So be ready to get your face beat in the mat a little bit and get humbled. And Ian had some humbling experiences the first couple of weekends, and realized that maybe Dad wasn't so stupid. And, we turned it around halfway through the season and dropped down to 106 pounds and started winning some tournaments. So I think he's ready to finish strong.
Yeah, do we have 2 tournament wins on the year or 3?
I believe I got first at Joe High and second at 1A State.
Okay, so it was 1 and then you were second at 1A State. That's right.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought it was 2. What do you think, Coach, of Ian's season so far?
I think it's been a great season. So, like you said, one of 3 freshmen to qualify for the state tournament, he's wrestled tough. He's learned a lot. I think he's still learning. So, but, I think after that Joe High win and then coming into 1A State and, having high expectations there, and wrestling that kid from Elgin for the first time, kind of realized some things that we need to work on. And but Ian's been working on it. We've been trying. So, I think looking forward into coming into state, I think we've got a real opportunity to make something happen. So we've kind of got some matchups that we want. So hopefully we can win that first round and make it into the semis for Friday and end up with the rematch against the kid from Elgin that we want to wrestle. So
Heck yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, Ian, favorite moment from this year? Make it to where we can keep it on the podcast, whatever it is.
The best moment would probably be, I think the funniest one would probably be when I pinned myself.
Oh, yeah, that'd be kind of funny. Yeah, that was kind of wild.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, if you even if you're in control, if you accidentally roll onto your back and you stay there for, what is it? It's not even that long.
It's not that long. Nope.
So you can get a defensive pin where you accidentally pin yourself. Somehow Ian accidentally did it, but hey,
he's not the only one that's done it. But
no, he is not.
So, but it's definitely one of those experiences where you go, I don't think I'll ever do that again.
No, you pay attention after that. It was like when you were yelling at me at Rivers or at Hepner. You're like,
everybody
do not pin yourself, and I was like, I'm aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. What's your favorite move?
My favorite move would probably be a high crotch to flare double, probably.
Okay.
So
you like to switch it
yeah.
after that? Okay, that's good. And then pinning combo.
My favorite pinning combo would probably be the Redmond. So
You put legs in or
Yeah.
no?
yeah, I do.
So it's Netflix and chill when it's
Yeah.
all said and done.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, Ian, congratulate you on making it to state, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Put the next one on. Michaela? Did you hear any of those questions?
Some of them, yeah.
So do you have an idea of what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've already been on the podcast once. So you're back. You qualified for state.
Yes.
Got a
I'm
fresh
so
hairdo
excited.
for it. Got the cornrows going on. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm so excited and nervous at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think of, really. So you had two more. You only had one more week of cutting to stay down.
Yeah.
First question: what are you gonna eat when you get back?
So my first match at districts, I won to the second seat. And my mom said if I beat that girl, she would buy me a full pack of donuts. Like a
So you're eating
12,
a full pack of
donuts. Yeah. So I'm so excited for that.
I'm just hoping we go to that place in Hood River, that breakfast nook.
That was very good.
That was very good.
Yep.
We're gonna have to do that again.
Yep. So, and when you never know, we might hit up Voodoo Donuts in Portland. So.
Oh, that would be good. That would be really good. So I'm gonna go through as the coaches again. Just a little word on Michaela's season. Coach, you're first.
Oh, me? Okay. Excuse me. Well, Michaela, again, so a little background. Michaela wrestled all year last year as a first-year wrestler, a junior in high school, and her win-loss record was pretty impressive from last year. It was 0-16. So for those of you who don't know, the wins are at the first, the losses are at the second. So she went all year last year without winning a match. And so I was super proud of her to come out this season and, come at it from a different angle. Her first tournament, she got a pin. And so, yeah, it was pretty cool. Every win that she's had this year, she's had with a pin.
Yes.
So pretty dominant on all of those wins. She's progressed a lot this year between the start of the season and now. She's a completely different wrestler. Coming into the district tournament, an unseeded wrestler, coming up against the number 2 seed and dominantly pinning her was very impressive. Coach Eddie and I were like, "Whoa, hey, where did
about
this
coming in
Michaela
clutch.
come?" Yeah, the district tournament came around and Michaela's like, "Oh yeah, I know how to wrestle." And so finishing in the girls regional tournament number 4 and qualifying for state, it's just super impressive. So.
Awesome.
I would like to put in there that I was 120 last year, and I was very small. So,
And you're 100 this year, right?
yeah, 100.
Well, she started the season last year at 120, and I think we finished last year at 110.
113.
Yeah.
It was
I think
115.
Yeah.
I think you finished at 110 last year, so yeah.
Had to work to get down there a little bit then.
Yeah.
It's always work, though. It always is. Coach?
Yeah. With Michaela, just once she realized that she can be out on the mat with those other girls, her confidence level, rose tremendously. And that's one of the biggest things is you step on the mat with all that confidence, whether they're a better wrestler that you're wrestling against or not, when you believe in yourself and you have that confidence, anybody can be beaten.
Absolutely.
And Michaela's shown that this last weekend at districts. Going out there. I mean, as the season progressed, we wrestled 105 for most of the season this year. And as the season progressed, starting to look at some of the things, we got into a tournament here a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, hey, I'm not that far off from 100 pounds, and let's give it a try. And she worked off the night before a couple pounds and made that weight and ended up and going out and having a great tournament. It's like, you know what, let's stay here. So let's wrestle 100 pounds for districts. And her confidence level, she ended up taking second at Melba, getting those medals, being on the podium, winning the matches, getting those pins. It was just huge for her to finish off this season. So, and I'm really looking forward to what she can do at state. So it's going to be great. So
Cool. What's your favorite takedown?
My favorite takedown. One thing that I've been working on is the fake high crotch to outside single. So
Yeah, that one's deadly.
yeah.
Or you can switch it, fake outside single to high crotch. I did that on Addison the other day. He might still be feeling that one because I did drop him on his head. He's somewhere out there. It was kind of bad, actually.
yep.
All right, and then favorite pinning combo.
Favorite pinning, definitely half Nelson.
Half Nelson.
It's the easiest one and it's very effective.
It always works too. If you fist to the mat, drive it down there, it always works.
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing fancy, just the basics. They work. So
Yeah. Problem is getting fist to the mat sometimes.
Well, it's not that
sometimes
hard.
people get in a hurry. I'm not saying who, but it's definitely not me. So
I do
heck,
that sometimes.
I think we all do at one point or another. All right, and then what's your favorite moment from this year?
My favorite moment would have to be my second to last match during districts. The girl I was wrestling was kind of like running off the mat a little bit and trying to get away when I got that, I think, one of my takedowns, and she started crawling off the mat. So I went down, grabbed her leg, and pulled her back in.
yeah.
That's cool.
That was awesome. It was my favorite.
That's super awesome. Well, I congratulate you with your year so far and wish you
Thank
good
you.
luck at state.
You too?
Perfect. Next. And we have the sister, Emma. She's also already been on here, for those that don't already know. Okay, Emma. First thing, what are you going to eat? Well, I guess I need to rephrase that question a little bit. For those who don't know, Emma had a little bit of a heartbreaker in the consolation semifinals to put her just outside of state, which happens. It totally happens. But we are 1A state champion for the girls at 100 pounds. So that's awesome. So we're going to focus on the wins for a little bit. Just what do you have to say about your year as the wrestler, I guess is what I'm going to ask.
This year I really enjoy wrestling, and it's something that I just like to do. But when I come up against opponents that I've wrestled before, I get a little nervous. And at Twin Falls, I think it was, I came up against this Middleton girl for the 4th time, I think, and I've lost to her quite a few times. And I lost to her there, and after that, I just kind of lost faith in what I could do, I guess. And my dad pulled me aside, and he talked to me, and he's like, and I told him that I didn't feel like I was getting any better, and he talked to me, and he's like, hey, you are getting better. Go look at your videos that you wrestled last year. Go see how much you've improved. And I did that, and I started to improve more, and I really enjoyed this season. It showed me a lot about myself. I may not have made it to state, but I made myself better, and I'm improving myself, and like you said, I still was the 1A state champion.
Yeah.
I can always take that with me.
Yep.
And I like this season. It was good. I didn't make it to state, but I wouldn't have given up this season for the world.
Yeah, definitely something about wrestling too is you can put in all the work and everything and still come up just short because you just never know. It's every time on the mat, it's a new opportunity. It's 0-0. It's everything's there, and it's 100% just you. And it's kind of nerve wracking when it's just you. There's a little bit of anxiety that comes with it, for sure. But like, it's the only sport where you can kind of peel back all the layers of yourself on that mat and find out kind of who you are, and how bad you want it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Coach, what's your first thought on this year?
Again, Emma started wrestling last year as a junior, and the progression that she's had this year is phenomenal. If you know anything about the sport of wrestling, it is very hard, not only physically but mentally. You step out on the mat with somebody you've never met before, and you've got to get out there and physically dominate them. So if you're not mentally tough, it's hard, and Emma is mentally tough. She works hard every day in practice. Her and Michaela are always going at it.
Sometimes bickering at it too.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just at practice either,
Yeah.
but those two in practice, they made each other better this year, and the progression that Michaela has shown in making it to state is a huge compliment to her drill partner, and Emma did a really good job this year, bringing her sister along with her, and they just both made each other better. So nothing but pride coming from this side of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Her season, from last year, both Emma and Michaela but for Emma, she wrestled 100 pounds last year, weighing 94, 95 pounds. Same thing this year, 100 pounds, weighing 93, 94 pounds. And that weight difference is a big difference when you're talking almost 10%
Of your
body weight that you're giving up against some of your opponents that are wrestling, and some of them that are cutting down from 105. So they walk around the halls, 107, 108, and they end up cutting down. And, after the first of the year, we get a weight allowance, so you gain 2 pounds. So 100 pounds becomes 102 pounds. And so that part plays a difference in some of those matches. Sometimes you're just have a little bit too much weight against you. But I would have to say probably 90% of the time, it didn't affect Emma. So,
Awesome.
What she has done this season as far as her record, her win-losses, just her attitude out there. She's come away with probably 26 wins on the season, I think, or 27 wins. Yeah. And it might actually be like 28 or 29 if you count the few that we had on the boys' side.
Yeah.
So, but we'll pause for a second here.
Yeah, we'll just wait. It won't affect it. We can actually isolate that mic, I think, and make that part go away.
So,
I don't know for sure, but
Emma had this season. I think we ended up starting the season 4th at LeGrand. So at the Safeway Girls Tournament, which is a huge tournament. You're talking a lot of tough girls wrestling there. And then I think 4th at Riverside. No, you were first at Riverside. I'm sorry. Yep, you were first at Riverside. I think. So I think the 4th place. I think you only had the 1 4th place finish, and I think everything else was champion. So,
Yeah.
it was Riverside. She came away with the championship. Joe High. She came away with the championship. Melba, 1A state. Just kind of dominated.
It's a cool picture
her way
from
through
Joseph,
there.
huh?
And Hepner.
Hepner, 1A, a champion. So, her and Michaela, 1A state, finished tied in 4th place, just the two of them for the girls, and so brought back the first girls wrestling trophy.
Awesome.
Together. So, so what she has done on this season, has been nothing short of incredible. So, sometimes it's that last match at districts, and the girls, they're wrestling 1A through 4A at districts. So the boys were wrestling 1A, 2A. Well, the girls, they're wrestling 1A through 4A.
It's tough.
And she had a girl from the Dalles that she come up against, and she was so close. And and it's I think sometimes maybe you almost go back and go, I wish I either would have won that match or just got beat real bad, and then it wouldn't have hurt quite as bad. But when you're so close, it's just that was a tough one. So especially when you want it so bad, and and that's the deal. Every wrestler that comes out here, they want to go on to the next level. They want to get to that championship stage, and not everybody can. So, but what she's done for her, what she's done for her sister, is a huge accomplishment. So, and I'm very proud of both Emma and Michaela and what they've done on this season. So, but.
Okay. I have a little bit different question for you. I'm going to ask you one because I feel like it's going to be a little bit longer answer. What's your encouragement to other girls and wrestlers in general?
Wrestling has brought up my personality so much. It has built my character, and I think that's something that every girl needs to know, that wrestling, it brought me confidence. My freshman, sophomore year, I wasn't very confident. I'm the smallest person in the high school, and wrestling showed me what I can do, that I'm strong and I'm not weak. I'm anything but weak. And I think that women's wrestling is the most important sport. I know
Fastest growing sport in the nation, by the way.
Yeah. Yep. I may be a little biased, but I think every girl should wrestle. It brought me so much confidence. It showed me about myself, because when you're on the mat, it's just you. It's all you, and it shows you what you are telling yourself, because it's a lot of mindset. So it shows you how you're treating yourself mentally and physically. And that's something that I'm always going to take with me, is the confidence that it gave me and the passion that it gave me too. Wrestling is just really fun for me. And when I go out on that mat scared of what the outcome could be, I don't wrestle my best. But when I go out there and I just want to have fun, it really shows in the outcome. And
absolutely,
that's something I really love about wrestling.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on once again. We're going to have the next one come on. I want to get actually, which one's up? You're going to have Clayton? Are you not coming on? I am. Okay. Clayton, take a seat. I got some special questions to make you embarrassed.
All right.
All right. What weight did you start at, and what word did you end at?
Like beginning of the season?
Beginning of the season.
Started at 159.
159.
And then we ended out like 152-ish.
Okay. So the weight was 150. No, it would have been 165. You would have been wrestling.
Started first tournament, wrestled 165.
Started first tournament and ended at 150. So first of all, everybody knows the cutting. Was it hard or was it easy for you?
I'd say the first 3 weeks. Like, I haven't cut that often. So I'd say this is definitely the first year I've really cut hard. And I don't know, it was pretty tough. Like, not just physically, like mentally. You see the food and it's like, oh man, I want to eat it so bad. But it wasn't too bad. But definitely different. It was a challenge. But
yeah. And I would like to also point out that you wrestled 150 pounds last year too. Weren't you 150?
150, yeah.
Yeah, so...
I wrestled both 150 and 57 last year, though.
Yeah, so you've been the same weight for 2 years. And the difference in those 2 years is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. I think I've grown a little bit, both, like, physically. I've grown in height, but also in the fact that, like, where I was last year versus this year, I'm so happy with, like, the progress I've made. And it's not just me. That goes out to, like, you and Addison and just everyone who's helped me get there, coaches and everything. And, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, big difference. I mean, 10 years your freshman year to, at least 30? I know you were at your 50 count matches this year, but I don't know how many wins you had your freshman year. But it was not.
It was not many.
It was not many.
I got my butt kicked my freshman year.
That's kind of the story, though, as a freshman. You always get your butt kicked a little bit your freshman year. Kind of humble you out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it was like 11 wins, because I was going through some of that stuff here the other day. So until I think it was 31 or 32 wins this year on the varsity side. So
big step.
That's a big step. That's pretty cool, not gonna lie. And
50
also
matches this year.
Yeah,
Clayton wrestled 50 matches.
And
tapped out.
Also 1A state champion.
Oh yeah,
you gotta buckle.
Man,
what do you think when you saw your bracket too?
For 1A state?
Yeah.
So I wrestled 157 at 1A state, and I was kind of nervous at first. I was like, man, I don't know these big guys. And then I saw the bracket, and I'm like, the way I was seated and like the guys in it, I was like, you know what? I might have a shot at this. And coach was hyping me up. He was like, we're coming back with that state championship.
Big win against Caden Allen.
And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know. And then we got it done. I was like, let's go, dude. I don't know. I was so happy about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we did forget one thing at 1A State. What did we forget?
I didn't wrestle Caden Allen at 1A.
No.
What, 1A State?
You forgot your headgear.
Oh, I did.
Somebody may or
I did forget my
may or may
headgear.
not have forgotten his headgear at 1A State. Which,
Yeah.
hey, it happens sometimes. I already triple and double checked my bag. I make sure I got everything. But
Yeah.
I mistaked my headgear for my shoes. I saw the green and I was like, oh, there, it's right there. And then luckily Wyatt had an extra pair for me though. So yeah,
That's awesome.
savior of the day there.
Okay, Monty, you're first. How was Clayton's year this year?
Clayton had a phenomenal year this year. His progression from last year was, over the top. We were really hoping that Clayton could get qualified for state.
Just short.
He kind of put the team on his back most tournaments. He was a lot of the tournaments. He was one of the last wrestlers coming down the back side of the bracket, and always just wrestling tough. And just super proud of Clayton and how he's progressed through this season. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, wrestled tough.
Yeah, technique wise, and the mental part I think plays a lot into it. Freshman year, the maturity levels, that are different between a freshman and sophomore. A lot of times, play a big part in it. But the technique that Clayton has kind of come into, and is really a technician out on the mat, and is just really kind of soaked some stuff up. And kind of like, when I see Clayton wrestle, I've said in the past, kind of be a student of the sport, and it kind of reminds me of that because of just what he does out there and the positions he ends up in, and how he wrestles. So, it's been a great season. Like you said, he had the 31, it was either 31 or 32 wins. I can't remember for sure on the varsity side. We did wrestle a JV tournament in Twin Falls, and those JV tournaments over in Idaho are sometimes tougher than some of our varsity tournaments that we hit, here locally. And that's kind of why we travel to the Idaho side to kind of hit some of those matches.
Tougher
so for one, they're tougher tournaments, and then you're not, seeing the same kids every week, week in, week out. Yep. So a lot of different styles, but that Twin Falls tournament, Clayton got a lot of really tough and good wrestling in, and I'd probably say that was probably one of the turnaround points for Clayton, or one of the points where you could really see that confidence level come up, and and again, that confidence is a big part of what these guys can do out on the mat. And so but like Coach said, putting the team on your back, there were a lot of times where Clayton, I asked him to wrestle up at 157 pounds. Probably a third of his matches this year we bumped up, because we've got Addison and you and Clayton all in that 144, 150, 157 range. And a lot of times, we need to spread guys out to get those team points. And so, Clayton ended up wrestling 157 quite a bit and did well there.
Yeah.
So, 1A State, I asked him to wrestle up, and 1A State champion. So, that's kind of the mental part, and at districts, like Coach said, we were really hoping, I thought we had a really good shot at getting there, and we did. A couple of things that I always talk to you wrestlers about, is minimizing mistakes and capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes. And we had two little mistakes in there that match that really counted.
Little mistakes.
Yeah. And his opponent capitalized on those. So, and that's part of the wrestling. He'll remember those coming into next season, and he's going to be even stronger for it. And so, but, great season. So, huge turnaround from freshman year. So,
and I also just want to thank you for coming out this week and getting to practice with me.
Absolutely.
Big help just being able to have three practice partners practically, because I practice with Jackson sometimes too, and then actually 4 because Mark comes out too. So I just thank all that. Let's get the next one up there.
So,
all right.
Thank you, Clayton, once again.
Yes.
Congrats on your season. All right, you get the same question as Ian to start out with it. What is it like to have a father and a coach in the same person?
It can be tough.
It can be tough.
Yeah, because at home you get a lot more talking to. But
We call those private sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People pay extra for that.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You get them for free.
I like it though because I learn more than just being at practice because I'll be able to talk to him at home.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And I think it's it's also really nice when you have that father for a coach, because like if there's something that just you need, they can figure it out. Kind of, you got, like you said, you have that one-on-one, and it makes things way better. So yeah, what was the first thing you ate after districts?
First thing I ate, Cadbury eggs.
Oh yeah, I forgot you got a bag.
The mini Cadburys. Right?
Yeah.
Now, who gave you the bag of Cadbury eggs? Who was it from Crane?
McKee,
because he forgot his shoes.
mouth guard.
Oh, mouth guard. That's what it was.
Oh,
'Cause-
please don't tell me you shared your mouth guard with
No.
I had a
He
new
had
one.
an extra. But it was worth a bag of Cadbury eggs.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So it was a good trade when it was all said and done.
Uh-huh.
So heck yeah. Coach, what's your thoughts on Jackson's season this year?
Well, so I got the opportunity to coach Jackson as an 8th grader last year, and like I was telling you guys with Ian, I told all my 8th graders, I said, listen, when you step on the mat in high school, it's completely different, you know, because it means a little more when you get there, and I think Jackson came in knowing that, because of course Dad was coach, and you know he's telling them the same thing. So Jackson struggled a little bit to start of the season, you know, pretty typical as a freshman. And
Melba turned it on though.
you know, by the end of the season, like most of our other wrestlers, I mean, you just looked at Jackson, the way he wrestled, just completely different.
100%.
You know, something just switched in his brain, and he was like, okay, I can do this. And, you know, I was hitting some really good shots on matches. We got real close on a few of them. So I'm excited to see what Jackson can do next year.
Yeah. So, you know, I kept telling Jackson all year last year. I think Jackson wrestled at 110 pounds last year as an 8th grader.
Yep.
Kept telling him, dude, quit growing. You got to be a 106.
gotta be
You got to be a 106 pounder. So, and then I think he grew a foot, and it's like, man. So,
Dang it.
So he's coming in, you know, weighing as a freshman, you know, walking around.
That's exactly what I had to wrestle my freshman
100,
year.
128, 129 pounds, you know, a couple times in making into that 130. You know, and wrestling all year at most of the year at 126. We had some few matches there where we wrestled 132. But, you know, early on, you know, you could kind of tell, I mean, he's got that height. So, and it's hard to figure out how to use that sometimes, especially coming in as a freshman. Wrestling at 126 pounds, you're going to have some really tough sophomores, some really tough juniors that you're wrestling against.
And those two seniors.
And yeah, so, you know, and that makes a huge difference just in the maturity level of where you're at physically sometimes and where you're at mentally. Plays a big part in that, you know, and like Coach said, you know, we kind of struggled there first of the season. But, you know, it was middle of the season when we went to Melba, and Jackson picked up his first win. And then right after that, picked up his second win at that tournament. And those two wins were huge for Jackson and his confidence level and then what he figured out that he could accomplish. And then from there, I mean, he was just a totally different wrestler. So, you know, kept progressing. So, you know, and part of that, I'd have to say, Manny, you know, you were a part of that when, you know, being Jackson's wrestling partner sometimes, you know, sometimes being the older wrestlers in the room, you know, and wrestling with the younger guys, not only are you beating up on them to kind of teach them some of this stuff, but you're also helping coach them at the same time without even realizing it. So, and what you upperclassmen do for these younger kids and younger wrestlers, you know, is huge. You know, we come into that district tournament and, you know, thinking we could win a couple matches, you know, we ended up getting a 4-foot win, advancing on, made it to that consolation quarterfinal match. That was kind of the one that, you know, we needed to win to get in for the podium. And gosh, you know, the score doesn't show it as
that was
you know,
good
the score,
match.
you know, it was a very good match. You know, the score shows a little bit more in the point spread there, but it doesn't show what that match actually was and how Jackson wrestled against that kid. You know, and like everybody else, I mean, that was a tough one because you want it so bad and you don't want it to be your last match and you want one more and sometimes it doesn't work out. But, you know, He's a freshman this year, finished up freshman season, coming in next year, looking for great things out of Jackson and what we can do, and trying to start using that length and figuring some things out there. It's kind of can be a different level of wrestling.
Yeah, it can be an advantage and a disadvantage, very much so.
Yep. So, but we kind of figure some of that stuff out, and it's going to have a bright future ahead of him. So
kind of timber
get
if
him
they
in the
get
weight
some.
room.
Yes.
Yep.
Get some muscle.
Get some muscles on there.
Yep.
It'll really help you out. I
Yep.
promise. So Jackson, what was your favorite memory from this year?
I like the Oregon Classic.
That
I
was
only
fun.
won one match that year, but
That duel.
that duel, yeah. But I think I wrestled. That's probably best I've ever wrestled there.
Yeah, you did wrestle really good there, actually. Yeah. Plus, we got to stay on what was that? Eagle Crest?
Yeah.
Man, the pool table down there. We ran the pool table.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. Heck yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on your freshman year?
I wish it would have gone a little better at districts. I probably could have done a little better on that quarterfinal match, but it was hard.
That's your freshman year, though. It's always tough, no matter what.
Yep.
I mean,
So
Coach saw me my freshman year
you
run an Instagram move to probably make it to state.
You got to pay your dues. So
Yeah.
you got to pay your dues. You got to take those lickings sometimes, and pretty soon you're the one that's dishing that out to the younger kids. So
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you once again being one of my many practice partners, and just good luck or congrats on your season, and on to next year. Yeah. Thank you, Jackson.
Yep, thank you.
Addison, the last and final, the man in pink. Man, that's going to show up great on camera, may I add.
hope it does.
Okay, before he actually puts his headphones on, well, no, you can put them on, I guess. My favorite memory with Addison this year is Clayton and I bought some chocolate milk, and may or may not have poured a little bit on Addison in the shower, but that's undisclosed information. That was my favorite Addison moment. So I'm gonna let you now say your favorite moment from this year.
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, that's a good one. That's a good memory.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, just taking a shower, listening to my. Who was I listening to? I think I was listening
It's
to
like Party
Zach
in the
Bryan.
USA, or no, it was like Party in the USA.
Was it Katy Perry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I hear that bathroom door open, and I just see a jug of milk come at me.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty funny. I gotta also say, it was some of my favorite wrestling to watch is Coach Eddie and Addison go at it. It's always entertaining. Addison's got some great one-liners. One of my favorite ones. He's on his back getting pinned by Coach, and he stands up and goes, "You got lucky because I remember my grandma's goldfish died and got sad all of a sudden." I started dying laughing. It was really entertaining. But Addison, I already know this answer, but what's your signature move?
Do I need to answer that question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody
I'm
else
the only one
knows.
Oh, yeah.
I think the whole state knows.
Probably all the wrestlers do.
I don't know. I think that blast up. No, I'm kidding. No, that fireman's, man.
That fireman's.
I love throwing people.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, and it's kind of a combo between a shot and a throw, too, so it kind of evens everything out. And then what's your favorite pinning combo? Or I guess, actually, what's the one you would like to run? Let's do that. What's the one you would want to get good at?
I don't really know off the top of my head. I almost want to say like maybe a Redmond.
Yeah, those are good ones, for sure.
I'd say the one that works, but
The one,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
that's,
the one that works.
that's a good point,
If
for
this
sure.
one works, I'm using it.
Heck yeah. All right, coaches, I'm going to come to you. Just give us a little word on Addison's season.
Well, Addison had a pretty good season this year. I don't think he started off as slow this year as he did last year. His progression stayed from season to season fairly well. I could see him growing confidence in his abilities out there on the mat. Addison's a fun kid to have on the team.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a lot of fun to be around. And I think, all of his teammates really enjoyed that. And so, no, it was just another one of those things where we're thinking, well, you know, we got Addison seeded pretty good in the district tournament. And, you know, the one thing that really, I read this morning, you know, I don't really care for part-time wrestlers wanting full-time wins. But what really breaks my heart is a full-time wrestler getting part-time wins. And Addison's a full-time wrestler. And, you know, we just came up short a few times, but, you know, we're going to get him next year.
Yeah. Come back for revenge.
Yeah.
Coach?
So, you know, Addison, he like Coach said, he started off pretty strong this year coming in, you know. Of course, he's got his signature fireman's. And like I said, you know, a lot of kids know it, but sometimes it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it still works.
So it
matter.
works, you know. But one of the things that, you know, and Addison's tried that this year, you know, at progressing and trying to hit some other stuff. And I think that's kind of the, you know, it's not a struggle, but when you're trying to add in some of those new things, when you've done something for so long, you know, it maybe slows it down a little bit because you're thinking about it a little more. You know, we're hesitant to maybe hit some of that stuff, but when Addison hit his fireman's, I mean, shoot, I mean, even when I'm practicing against him, I mean, there's some of those. It's like, I mean, you hit those right, and they're tough to defend. So
puts you on your back,
yeah,
straight up.
So. I mean, I had to start wrestling 100% against him. So,
hey, that's a good thing too.
So, but no, I've absolutely loved having Addison on the team this year. You know, having all three of you. So Addison, Clayton, and you know, you and Addison have both wrestled 144 most of the year. And kind of the same thing with Addison. We've asked him to do. You know, is you know, whether you have stayed at wrestled in 144 and Addison's wrestled 150 and Clayton wrestled 157, you know, that kind of makes a big difference in there. You know, when we went to the Classic and then 1A State, you know, you know, I asked Addison to wrestle up at 150 pounds at 1A State, you know, and ended up taking second at 1A State. But for the team points, that's kind of what we needed, you know, and for what you guys have done at 1A State, you know, last year and this year, you know, we were 13 points out of that championship run this year, you know, and we were six points, you know, out of second, you know, finishing third, which is great for you guys. But, you know,
I think at one point we were leading the tournament.
We were. Yeah, we were.
So,
I checked.
You know, so, but, you know, having Addison wrestle in those other weights, you know, versus 144 to where maybe he might have had a little bit more success, you know, speaks huge for Addison. Same for Clayton, you know, wrestling in those uncomfortable weights and those uncomfortable spots and still having some great success out there, you know. I mean, kind of look at you three and it's like, you know, sometimes you get those, call them, you know, the hammers out there. I mean, you go bang, bang, bang. Right there, you know. So and a lot of times, you know, 1A State, we had all three of you guys 1, 2, 3 in the finals, and you know,
kind of cool.
Yeah, you know, I mean, for two juniors, you know, coming into seniors this next year, and for Clayton, a sophomore, you know, coming into a junior, you know, the kind of those leadership roles that you've all three have kind of taken on. So, you know, so it kind of speaks big for all you guys. But you know, I'm excited for Addison next year. So, like again, I thought we'd get him, so I thought we'd get him to state this year. So we were there. Sure. You know, he ended up wrestling at 138 pounds at state, and I don't know. You know, as a coach, you always look at some of your decisions and go, man, did I make the right decision? Should I just left him at 144? And things shook out a little bit different at the seeding meeting, and it was too late to change. I was like, gosh, you know, if I'd have left him at 144, maybe we would have been there. But at 138, I think still had a great chance, and so. But, you know, and those are kind of some of the things that you got to go back and look at. And so, but, you know, I think Addison's going to look at last year and look at this year, come into next year, and I think he's going to find himself wrestling in Portland next year. So
stumble into it.
Stumble into it.
Yeah.
No, there's not going to be any stumbling into it. So
no,
it's going to be on purpose.
Yep. He's going to be dominant next year. So
awesome.
Yep.
Once again, thank you for being one of my many wrestling partners, Addison. You always keep me on my toes, not going to lie, between the slapping the mat mid-match where you go hit the mat and then come up. Pretty much he'll like try and distract you in some way, shape, or form and then take a shot. And he's pretty good at it, actually, is the funny thing. It's always with something funny, but thanks for being some entertainment. Just some practices and everything. We always appreciate that. So, yeah. Thank you, Addison.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this episode of the Adrian Athletics Podcast. So check out our sponsors and like and subscribe for more. Thank you.